So today is the end of another strike day for the York Regional District School Board. And they did go to school yesterday, though, and I received a phone call from the teacher yesterday because Carter is relatively new at his school, and it was sort of a follow-up about behavior in the classroom and how he's transitioning. My son has ADHD diagnosis and also an ASD diagnosis and learning disabilities in reading and writing. And one of the things that he struggles with the most is that he cannot follow usually more than one step at a time without being prompted to the next step. So for most kids, they can usually handle 2 or 3 steps. You can say to them, first do this, and then we will do this. Well, for him, he gets the first part done and he's forgotten the rest. So the teacher was just telling me how she's doing something called yo-yoing with him, where during seated work, after the lesson has been done, she will tell him, go and do this, and then come back to me, and then we'll talk, and then you can go away and do the next step. And I thought to myself, Jesus Christ, this is what she's having to do, while also doing things that could be entirely different for any other children that are identified as exceptional in that classroom. Not to mention the regular curriculum. And it's also a split class, a 2-3 split. So some subjects they're doing the exact same thing, but some subjects they are doing slightly different things. So I noticed in science they were doing something like the grade 2s were doing structures and the grade 3s were doing like weight bearing. So similar, but still different lessons being taught. So I thought to myself, this woman is doing this for 22 students on her own, yo-yoing my kid and doing whatever else she needs to do for other children who need assistance in the classroom. That is what the strike is about. Because I couldn't imagine adding more kids into the mix for her. I mean, if you think that the teachers are giving up hundreds of dollars a day in pay for striking for our children, because at the end of the day it's about money for them, then what that means to me is that you actually don't understand their job. You don't understand the full scope of their work as teachers. And this woman, by the way, spent her entire downtime at lunchtime talking on the phone with me. She had to let me go because I could hear the bell ringing in the background and the kids were coming in from lunch recess. And she spent that time with me. She didn't have to, but she did. Now, even if your kid is not identified in the class, even if your kid is a child who performs really well in the classroom with minimal supervision and they just are naturally excel at academics, you should still be pissed off. Because more kids means less attention for your kid, whether they need it or not. They deserve it. It's what they deserve. And if they ever did have a question, would you not want the teacher to have time to be able to fully focus and devote to your child? So this isn't a battle just for us parents of children with special needs. It should be a battle for all parents. Because one teacher is not enough for all these kids. They need supports. They need education assistance for the identified students so that they can get the help they need without diverting too much of the teacher's attention from the rest of the class. I have one kid, just one. And if you know this kid, you know that he drives me banana sandwiches. And you better believe that he is exactly the same inside the classroom. The only difference is in the classroom, he's not getting to do whatever he wants. Basically, he's not getting to be leisurely. He has to be within structure and routine and do things he doesn't want to do all day long while he's at school. So I think it's safe to say that he's probably worse behaved at school than he is at home. I don't know what the answer is completely, but what I do know is that this strike is, it's not about money. It's not even remotely about money. It's about setting up our kids. It's about giving them the resources so that when they're older, they can save the planet. They're probably going to need to.